Okay, today is sheath making day. I did get this made the other day, and as soon as I'm done with these two knives, I'm going to restore this. And I think I can do that in one day, and then the next day make a sheath. So here is Big Red. Gonna make a sheath for that, and this is stonewashed with maple burl. That's a BC special. And this and the neck knife are going to the same fella up in Canada. And right now we are trying to get warm. It is cold down here. I got that little heater on. And boy, yesterday it got up to 77 degrees, which, you know, is fine. But we had storms coming through, and there were tornadoes. Not here, south of us there was tornadoes, and they touched down. I don't know what I'm hearing. Sounds like a compressor kicked on, but I don't have a compressor on. I think that is starting to vibrate on the floor or something. So anyway, I got my battery. I don't know if I told you that yet. I did get to Marshall. Okay, I'll tell you the quick without yakking too much. I know I do. Had to go to the butt doctor, okay, yesterday, and they did that thing again, and they told me that I was all healed up, and that what caused me to go in the hospital was my diverticulitis getting infected, and then the infection spreading out through my body. And I kind of, I'm a little hard-headed sometimes, and I don't want to go stop doing what I'm doing, but I should have gone to the hospital a lot sooner than I did, and that's what the doctor told me. Because it was pretty bad. The infection was pretty bad, and it took 16 IV bags of antibiotics to straighten me out, and in there in the hospital. So let's not do that again. So anyway, I'm, good to go. I feel good, better than I felt in quite a long time, actually. So that's a good thing. And let's see. Oh yeah, we're doing the order online for Sam's and Walmart, and I like it. My wife, she's kind of on the fence because there's things that they said they didn't have, and while they were loading up our groceries at Walmart, she went in and got what they said they didn't have, which was some kind of dip and chips that she likes. So, and same thing with Sam's, no problem there, backed up. They loaded our stuff up. And the other day I sold a knife for cash. My friend David works at a place, and somebody that works with him wanted a knife. Actually, it was a Nessmuk, a stonewashed Nessmuk. So anyway, I had $200 bills in my wallet and no tip money. And I said to the guy, I tip pretty good. Most people give them a buck or two. I tip a little better because, I worked for tips at one point in my life. I delivered pizza, and tips were a big part of my day. And if I didn't get tips, then I was at minimum wage, which, way back then was like $3 an hour. And that wasn't even enough to put gas in my car. So I think it was $3 or $4 an hour, plus I think they gave you $2 a pizza, every pizza you delivered, and then on top of that you got your tips. So the $2 for every pizza you got paid daily, and it was cash, and your tips you got paid cash. So the only thing they basically taxed you on was your minimum wage, and I can't remember what that was. That was way back in the 80s. So I said I actually had $1 and $200 bills. Plus I had my pistol in the center console, right? And I think it kind of freaked him out. So I said, I usually tip pretty good, but all I've got is a buck, and my wife went in to get some stuff. When she comes out, she'll have change. And he said, man, I don't work for tips. I get paid a good salary here. And so that was a really good attitude. And I said, well, I usually tip better, but honestly, $1 is all I got right now. And I didn't tell him I had $200 bills. But anyway, I don't know why I started that story. So anyway, I really like this, not having to go into Walmart and they bring all your crap out to you and load you up, and you are out of there. Even where you park in the parking lot is way off the beaten path, away from all the other SOBs. I hate this time of year. I really do. I hate this time of year. I hate the traffic. I hate the way people behave. You know, the celebration of Christ's birth and Thanksgiving, between those two periods, people act like demons and behave and drive like that too. Everybody's in a hurry, and you could be going 50 miles an hour over the speed limit, and you'd have somebody 2 inches off your butt because you weren't going 60 miles an hour over the speed limit. All right, I'm going to stop. So, to recap, all my innards are doing good, and it seems like we are never going to have to shop again. And I still didn't get my little buddy. I did get my batteries. That's what I was actually started telling you. I got my batteries. Not all of them. Some of them are in the mail. But I got 2/3 of my order. And when I go home tonight, I'm going to show you my craziness. Because I have a lot of batteries. There's no lie about that. So I'll show you the crazy amount of batteries I have. And more coming. Double A's is what I have coming. But, you know, there may be a point in our world where you will not find batteries anymore, and I have a lot of battery-powered stuff. You know, I have 2 battery-powered radios that have shortwave on them, and you know, I'm probably going to be glad I have that if the world takes the turn that it seems like it's going to take. Anyway, already, I think it's warm enough to get started, or maybe I'll have a cup of hot chocolate, and then we'll get started. All right, so I'm going to make the sheath for this first because I can do that pretty quick. That's not going to have to take a whole lot of... Did I show you the stonewash part of it? I'm going to do that one first, but I have some red dye, and I'm going to put it on this leather scrap here and see what it looks like. And if this works, then I'm going to do that with a mild black fade. So I'm going to let this dry and then put it up next to that. But I tell you right now, I do kind of like it. But I won't know for sure until it completely dries, because it does get a little bit lighter as it dries. Alrighty. Well, I got one glued together. I will be sewing that in a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and get this one. This is for the Texas Rumble with the red handle. And this is what I'm kind of liking, the color of that dye. It's not an exact match, but really it's the only red I have. And I think it'll look okay, especially if I hit it with a little black fade. It'll soften the red up some. All right, I made a tool. These have these weird nuts on the end, and I kind of altered a screwdriver, and it works. I don't have you in a tripod, but let's see if I can do it a little bit. No, not with one hand. Yeah, okay, it works. I've already unscrewed it some just to see if it worked, but I'm gonna drink a cup of hot chocolate and then get to work on the next one, and by the time I get that dyed and the belt loop sewed over, this will be ready to be sewed. All right, there's one. Well, 2 actually. These 2 are going to the same fella. I still have to sharpen all these knives, And now I'm going to sew this and get a larger black fade on this. And that'll be done. And then I'll give these a couple of days to dry in the house. I have a fan on my desk that I turn on and just sort of lay these in front of the fan, and not with the knives in them. Okay, so yeah, I'm liking that. You know, my wife and I were talking about, I told my wife that somebody was critiquing my work. It was a co-worker of a friend of mine, and his only thing he could come up with to say bad about my knife was that I didn't put my name on my knife. And you know, I have not put my name on my knives in a very long time. I used to stamp BC on the sheaths, and I have a logo that I can etch on my blades. But for the life of me, I just don't feel good putting my name on these. And you know, my wife and I have talked about it before. She makes quilts, and she doesn't like to sign her quilts. A lot of quilt makers do. They have a little tag that they sew on, and it boils down to vanity. And that's a large part of it for me. I feel vain. Anybody who's bought a knife from me knows who they bought it from. And I could look at any knife I've made ever in my life and know it was a knife I made. So the only reason to put a logo on there is, and on my behalf, would be vanity. And on somebody else's half, so they could say, I got a BC blade here. Well, you don't need that. You know who you bought it from. Anyway, there's a lot that goes into the reason why I don't put my name or logo on the knives. I know I made it, you know I made it, and that's all that matters. Okay, this is still a little damp, but I'm gonna go ahead and start sewing it now. I gotta go to my felt sander and sand this edge up real nice, like this one. I'm gonna do a little more work on that edge, but for the most part, that's done. Before I go home, I'm gonna put one more coat of wax, and actually I haven't buffed this yet, so I need to buff that too. All right, that's next. Okie dokie. It has been a long day, but they're both done. All I need to do now is sharpen them, and I'll put the edge on these tomorrow and ship them Friday. And well, what do you think? This will dry a little bit lighter, and you know, this will too. It's only been a few hours since they've been dyed, but after a day or two they do get a little lighter. So there we go, there's 3 knives, and I'm gonna sharpen them tomorrow, and then I'm gonna do a video on this separately of me taking it apart and cleaning it up and putting it all back together. Alrighty, have a good, what is tomorrow? Wednesday? I think tomorrow's Wednesday. Have a good Wednesday, y'all. I told you I would show my battery collection. And that's a lot of double A's right there. And I actually have, that was triple A's, these are double A's. And I have more double A's coming. I should have them tomorrow. And the way I look at it is batteries, if, you know, the economy goes south, batteries will be worth a gallon of gas, you know.